Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energy of next week. So your next week, whenever you are discovering this video, it is timeless. And I am using some angel cards. These are tarot cards, but they relate back to some angels. So if you are interested in working with an angel this week, these cards will tell us who that is that you might want to work with. So this is a pick a card reading. You get to pick the card, the pile, the number that resonates for you. If you find something that's already calling to you, I have the timestamps down in the description and I will meet you at your reading. This is where you get to engage your intuition to decide which one is right for you, so I can engage my intuition and read it for you. As always, this is a general reading, so take what resonates. If you come across some difficult energies or something that you don't really like, that's okay. We're always looking for solutions. We want to know if we come across this energy, how can we, if it's challenging, what is it? What's the lesson in it for us? What can we do to get through that? Because life is challenging, so that's our goal here. So I do have some crystals to put on these piles if you like to pick with crystals. For pile number 1, I want to make sure. Yeah, I think you can see this. This is Labradorite. For pile number 2, this is Kyanite, black Kyanite. They sometimes call this witch's broom. It's pretty popular around Halloween. And then for pile number 3, this is Apatite. So I'm going to take a deep cleansing breath and focus my energy on the reading. If you're still not sure which pile is right for you, or if you just, want to be in the moment and focus on this present time, go ahead and do this deep breath with me. So I'm going to breathe in through the nose very deeply. And breathe out. Just let go of stress and worries and just be here in the moment. Something really interesting that I heard about breathing that makes so much sense. And we definitely want to take some deep breaths throughout the day. That helps us calm down. It helps us release. It helps us relax. And that's what I want you to do right here, right now. So just continue to breathe deeply. But what I wanted to tell you about the breath and breathing is that most people breathe really shallow and at the top of their lungs. And what that is, that's actually how prey animals breathe, because that doesn't make any noise. But you're sending a signal to your body that you are in stress, that you are in distress. It also, it's not the best at oxygenating your entire body. So we want to breathe deep. I love Wim Hof breathing. The Atom Between the Worlds, the Medium channel, he did a whole month about breathing. I think it was in July. So he has a bunch of breathing things on his it's the Medium channel on his YouTube if you are interested in breathing deeper. But now that we've done that journey, go ahead and open your eyes, and whichever pile your eyes go to, that's the one for you. And I will meet you at your pile. Hello, group 1. If you picked the Labradorite, I just want to let it catch yeah, that's so pretty. Let it catch the light there a little bit. Or you're the number 1, or you just like the way the pile is stacked, whatever it is that drew you here, this is the cards for you. So I like to pick one card that's kind of the overall energy for the week. This actually happens to be a tarot card. Usually I do an oracle, but these relate back to an archangel, and I wanted to get some archangel messages, like what archangel might be right for you to work with this week. So the card is 5 of air. And this says an unwise choice. There's a better way that will make you happier. Avoid people who lack integrity or who have questionable motives. So this is really interesting. Just the card itself really reminds me of the Gambler and Kenny Rogers. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And this last line here about avoiding people who lack integrity or who have questionable motives kind of makes me think that this week might be your week to know when to run. The angel that it goes back to, it's the S here on the corner. I don't know if you can see it, but I can. So I know that this relates back to Sandalphon for you. Sandalphon is a super tall angel. In some of the texts, it talks about him like having his feet on earth and his head in the heavens. What's really interesting to me about that and about the crystal Labradorite is that a lot of crystals are really used for grounding, but Labradorite is one of those crystals that is used for you to kind of, it's with your crown chakra. So it is more like helping you get in touch with psychic abilities. So I just find that interesting with the Archangel Sandalphon that comes through. He is the angel of music. So it makes sense in like this situation where there's disharmony to bring in somebody who can help you harmonize with the people around you. He's also the angel that he's like the messenger angel too. So if you feel like your prayers aren't being answered, Sandalphon is the angel to help you with that because he communicates with God. He's the one who takes prayers to God. So if you feel like something is being neglected and you have unanswered prayers, sometimes unanswered prayers are good though, because there are things that we think we want that are just not for our highest good. But if you are really in a situation with other people and you need to know some more information about it, you need some help with it, you are facing maybe this week an unwise choice and you're like, wait a second, what is my unwise choice? Like, how do I tap into my intuition to know this? Can you help guide me? Sandalphon is the angel to work with for that. So let's get the rest of these cards. I'm just gonna put these guys over here because we will get them out later. And we've got, this is the 6 of Wands reversed. Then we've got the Star. This is the Stars. And we have the 2 of Cups reversed. And we've got the 9 of Swords reversed. So very interesting, especially with this first card that we have out here, because I feel like this is really a week about you. And you may need to walk away from people. As I said, that last line really stuck out to me. Like, avoid people who lack integrity and who have questionable motives. Somebody that, because especially with this 2 of Cups reversed here, 2 of Cups is about partnerships. But when it's in reverse, this can indicate a breakup. This can indicate you focusing on yourself. This can indicate you walking away from a situation or friends that are not for your highest good. I almost feel like this guy here, laughing and walking away with everybody's chips. It could, at the beginning I've thought that maybe that's you, but maybe that is one of your friends that friends in quotes here that you do need to step away from, that does have questionable motives, that takes advantage of you. This card, the Five of Swords, often talks about like winning the battle but losing the war. And this could be you, or it could be a friend that you're dealing with, somebody who is willing to, you know, put your relationship at risk just to be right about something, or, you know, just doesn't listen to you and doesn't take into consideration your feelings. Now I understand, also like maybe plays games. And I get that like this is poker and we're supposed to be playing games here. It's the whole point of it is to win, but like that's not really the point of relationships. The point of relationships isn't to win, right? We've got the Six of Wands reversed. You can see this. I'll show it to you upright because this is a really cool card. These are based, well, it's not based on, it is the artwork of Botticelli. And then they've altered it, some of it a little bit. They've cut it out of different paintings and put in like wands. Like these wands weren't in his original artwork, but obviously we need wands for a wands card, right? This is kind of really evaluating your situation, and Six of Wands on its own is like standing out. But when it's reversed, this is more of a private achievement and your kind of personal definition of success. And you might really be, like I already touched on this Two of Cups here, like we could have a breakup going on. This is you achieving things on your own, not really taking that victory lap. That also kind of goes back to the gambler here. Like you don't count your money at the table. And if you were in a situation like this and you're okay with it, like you're not really, they aren't your friends that you're harming. You definitely want to step away from the table and count your money, because there's just so much opportunity for somebody to come in and then, you know, if you've earned this fair and square, for them to take advantage of you or take that away. Now, overall, though, I think that even though it feels like there's some turmoil here, like again with the breakup of a friend or leaving a, you know, partnership, that kind of thing that's just not serving you anymore, and we're talking about people with questionable motives, we have the Star, or the stars here. I do love that, especially in this particular reading, that it is the stars, because like I said, it's based off of, or it is the artwork of Botticelli. So these three beautiful women were together and they're very star-alike. So in this particular deck, with this particular reading, it does show me that there is hope that when you do have friends that you need to cut ties with, that there are other people out there to support you, or that do align with your values, that are not here to take advantage of you, that are there to, you know, support you and you support them, that there is a reciprocal relationship. But there are some people that, you know, maybe you do need to walk away from. This also reminds me of, psychology. I like to research a lot of psychology because I think it's really important in tarot to do that. Why we do things, that and like the meaning behind it. Myths, legends, those kinds of things are so important because it's so like, you know, the cards reveal what's going on in our psyche. And she had a video recently, which is amazing. It was talking about self-sabotaging, like why we stay in bad relationships, like self-sabotaging relationships, or why we are in the same cycles of bad relationships. We go through the same thing over and over again. Same basic person that we are dating, but they do the it's a different person, but it's, you know, it could just be the same person. We're seeking out these people that we know are going to harm us. Well, maybe we don't know. We do know on some level that they're going to harm us, but we think that it's going to be different this time. And one of that, or the reason that it's such a cycle, is because we think we want to rewrite that ending. We don't want it to end the same way. So we keep picking up the same person, the same personality, and expecting it to be different, right? But what was it that Einstein said? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, this week is talking about, you know what, you really do need to cut ties with these negative influences in your life and strengthen the bonds with the people who are here to support you. A lot of times when we focus on these negative relationships, the positive relationships really suffer, and we get ourselves into this really downward spiral. But like I said, with the cards this week, it is really you know, about maybe that you're having an epiphany about that, maybe because we are talking about it right here, and then you're able to go on and do something about it. And again, strengthen those bonds with people who are here for you for the right reason. Now, we've got the Nine of Swords reversed. Nine of Swords talks about anxiety and inner turmoil. It talks about like some fear and depression. And with the Five of Air here, I feel like, and the Two of Cups reversed, I feel like this is around relationships. I feel like you're about to have an epiphany, though, about those relationships and about your role in it and how you keep kind of getting stuck in that cycle. And the good news is that with the Nine of Swords in reverse, I think you're ready to actually let it go and release it. There's so much about like, you know, really you personally here and you personally here. I also love that she's praying. And I love the angel wings here. Not all of the angel wings here. So not all of these cards, I really did want to do an angel reading, and not every one of these cards has angel wings on it, but I do feel like the presence of prayers that they can be answered this week. And I really feel like it's kind of like more of like you trying to find a direction for yourself on where you want to go. And I think that you will. And I think that you'll work that out, and you'll just, you know, come to a point where it's like, you know what, enough's enough. This isn't working out anymore. And I do need to focus and pay more attention to my tribe, to the people who are here for me day in and day out. And I've just been ignoring them because of like this bad situation. So let's see what else we have. We have communication is key, new moon in Gemini, and we have a new start is coming, new moon. So both new moon cards, both brand new beginning, so much related to this, to the stars card, that we have this available to you, this, you know, to get out of a negative cycle and to start over. Oh, so interesting too with the Labradorite and Gemini. Gemini is about communication. Communication is key, but it can also talk about it's time to get grounded. And I said this is kind of like the more like cerebral kind of thing, but with your angel Sandalphon, like he's got his head in the clouds and his feet on the ground. So I think that you can have I think that's like for you as well, that you can connect to your higher self but still be grounded in the now. And then I love this, a new start is coming, a new moon. It's that we've got a new and exciting, and this is if you've been wondering like this week if it's time to start, like aside from these cards that we have out here, just anything that you're wondering, like, is it time to start this new project? Is it time to start this new relationship? Is it time to, whatever it is, that new thing that you want to start, you're excited about? This is a big yes. A lot of positive vibes and a lot of talk about a new cycle for you, and putting down like these old relationships that just aren't working. And I feel like you're really realizing that and coming out of it and doing what is best for you. And you're not worried about what everybody else thinks, because there are people who approve of this for you and are here for you. The other people who aren't happy about it, they're the ones you're going to be leaving behind anyway. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. Looks like a really interesting week. Very interesting angel to work with. And yeah, I don't think that it's going to be very smooth sailing, so to speak. But we got to let go of some old things to start new ones, and focus on existing relationships. This could be new relationships too. Just don't be in that lack mindset of you're holding on to this group of people, or maybe it's just this one person because you're afraid that you're never going to find anybody else. Well, if they make you feel like crap, good. I hope you don't find anybody else that's like them. You have people that are going to make you feel good, that will, and that's what you need. When you focus on yourself and projecting who you are, people are going to be attracted to who you are. The right people will be. So please, if you've been with me this far, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next reading. Thanks, Group 1. Hello, Group 2. If you picked the Kyanite or the number 2, or you just like the way the cards were, whatever, for whatever reason, no judgment. You are in the right place. So let's start with the overarching energy of the week. This is the Emperor. Logic and organization will increase your success. Take charge of the situation, accept a leadership role, structure and discipline. So yeah, it's really interesting about this is so many people are going back to school. And even if you aren't, like, the energy is very much about getting structured, getting on a schedule, getting on a plan. So I feel like could be really good for you this week. The Archangel to work with for this card is Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is really interesting. He's the one who really depicted here in the card. Talk about like royal purple or royal blue as being his color. So that might be meaningful to you if you're looking for synchronicities. He is, blue here. And he carries this sword. He's also the angel of protection. So if you are looking for protection from something, someone, some energies, just overall protection, Archangel Michael is the one to bring in for that. The sword here can help cut out negative people, negative things, whatever it is that you want to let go. Archangel Michael can help you do that. Going back to the Emperor card itself, it is also related to Aries. So that might be important to you. There's like the Aries here and Ram's heads there. 4 is a number, which the Emperor is number 4. 4 is a number of stability. I mean, that throne looks very stable. And then in this particular depiction, Archangel Michael is holding the world in his hand. So I feel like this is just telling you that, putting a plan in place, putting your structure in place, that, the world is your oyster. Sticking with something, like doing something a little bit at a time, like, and I'm almost feeling like an exercise routine here, but it doesn't have to be. It could even be just like if you're wanting to read a bunch of books, just focus on reading 1 chapter a day. When you do that, that's 365 chapters a year. I mean, 1 chapter a day doesn't feel like it's too much, right? If you do 10 minutes of yoga a day, that's more beneficial to you than if you do 60 minutes of yoga once a week. And I'm talking about like 10 minutes every for 3 or 4 days. So these little things add up, but a lot of times we don't do them until we we're structured or disciplined behind them. So let's see what our tarot cards are, and I'll put our advice cards over there. So we have 9 of Wands. That also talks about discipline. And we've got the 7 of Chalices. Very interesting that we have another blue angel here. Judgment. More angels. And then we've got the Queen of Chalices, the Queen of Cups. So very interesting. Okay, so structure and discipline, right? When we take that from the Emperor and into our 9 of Wands here. 9 of Wands talks about boundaries. This is something that, sometimes when we take a leadership role, we do need to put some boundaries around ourselves. We definitely need to teach people how to treat us. So that might be something that just came out here. But this 9 of Wands, again, boundaries, very big. Resilience, courage, persistence. Again, with whatever routine it is that you're thinking of doing or enacting, it's having that discipline to do it day in and day out. And it doesn't even need to be hard. It doesn't even need to be that big of a deal. Like I said, 10 minutes a day, 1 chapter a day. Just these little things build up over time, and they make such a big difference. It may even be something like saving money. So that's really interesting. Then we have the 7 of Chalices. So 7 of Chalices talks about a lot of opportunities, a lot of things coming our way. Something that sometimes we might be blocking them. But that could be for a good reason, because of, like I said, we teach people how to treat us. Sometimes there's opportunities that come to us that are just not worth it. I think if you have a job that you've ever left and you would never go back there, you get an idea of that. But that is kind of like the 7 of Chalices. There's tons of opportunities available to you. And sometimes it could be really overwhelming. I like to think about it in terms of like, okay, well, that's flattering that I can always go back to that job. I never will because, again, I have boundaries. I have structure and discipline around me that I'm never going to be treated like that again. However, if you use that as like a positive thing, though, where maybe they can give you a reference. They can be a reference. I don't know why I couldn't think about that, or that couldn't come out. They could be a reference, or you can use that to help boost your confidence, because sometimes and that kind of goes into this judgment here, because judgment is kind of getting a little bit of leveling up. It is, you've reached a significant stage of your journey. You're kind of going from one place to another. This in particular, you can see they're getting out of coffins. But they've got angels. It's kind of like the judgment before you go into heaven, which is, great. But, it's judging you on your past and your self-worth. So when I'm talking about the 7 of Chalices, and even though you have opportunities that you would never act on because you have self-respect, you can still use that to boost your confidence. You can still use that to tell yourself, you know what? I was really great at that job, even if that job was really terrible. And I do deserve to move on. I do deserve to go to this next job. I do deserve to level up, judgment-wise. If I am being judged on, let's say, my resume, whatever that is, whatever it is that you have out there that you're being judged on, your LinkedIn, maybe you do need to polish those things up. But you know, sometimes we just need that confidence, that boost, that kind of like this emperor kind of energy coming in. And I'm like really feeling this whole like, excuse me, like, you know, standing up straight, putting your shoulders back, just being really confident and not letting yourself get confused by how many chalices are going on. I also, you know, I don't think it's a mistake here that we're talking about Archangel Michael from one deck, and we have a blue angel coming in here on another deck, kind of helping you sort through all of these choices that you have going on. Seven of Chalices can also talk about wishful thinking. So if you really want something, and sometimes we just get lost in our daydreams and we don't really know how to put it into action. I feel like, you know, maybe working with Archangel Michael can help you do that, can help you level up, can help you go to the next level. I'm saying level too often. And then we have the Queen of Chalices here at the end. I love that she's journaling. I think that would be something more that the Queen of Swords does, but that's okay. She can journal. I do love that she's wearing blue here, goes back to water, goes back to our intuition, emotional fulfillment here. She does look content. A lot of his artwork, this is a Botticelli deck, a lot of his artwork doesn't look like the happiest, but I feel like that, you know, this is somebody who's, the Queen of Cups is compassionate and caring, emotionally stable, obviously. She follows her intuition. So if you are being bombarded by a lot of choices here, you know, follow your intuition. Boundaries are really, really important. So remember that for yourself, because sometimes, you know, if we are looking for a job, or if we really want a relationship, whatever it is that we're looking for, sometimes we do let some of our personal boundaries down, you know, go, because we think that we're getting into a really great opportunity. But I think that remember who you are, have confidence in who you are, and then it's going to lead to some emotional fulfillment for you. And then our advice cards, we have luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. I really like this. Oh, very interesting, because the bow being pulled back here kind of reminds me of, you know, sometimes we kind of feel like we're getting farther and farther away from where we want to be, and things feel like they're in tension and like tense. That's what I mean, is that there's a lot of tension around things, and maybe we're not doing as well as we had hoped or think we should be. Sometimes when you're being pulled back because you're just you're being pulled back so that you can be released and let go, so you can find that target. Things can move very, very quickly once the energy gets moving. And new moon in Sagittarius often talks about, like, obviously luck is on your side, so that's a great omen, but that you know, you really have this great energy that comes in after being in a place where you maybe weren't the happiest. This can also talk about going on a trip, and I really feel like, you know, a gift could be coming for you. And yeah, so that's fun and interesting. And then we've got believe in the impossible, blue moon. What did I say? Blue angel, blue moon. So very interesting. Blue moons are, I think you probably have heard the term happen once in a blue moon. That means that something is very, very rare. This card talks about something that you thought that maybe would never happen, happening. This opportunity that you really wanted and you didn't think that you were ready for it or that nobody would ever recognize your genius. Good omen that this can come through. So what a blue moon is, it is it's I think the second full moon in a month. So the lunar cycle is 28 days. That means that you're going to have a moon at the very beginning of the month and a moon at the end of the month. And this happens about every 2 years. The last blue moon was October of 2020. So it's not impossible. It's just rare, but that's how we feel about opportunities sometimes. And that's how we feel about things sometimes, that things are impossible. And then all of a sudden it just changes. Like it's almost like you communicated with an angel and they helped you out. So, yeah, looks like a really interesting week for you, group 2. I think that it's just kind of like a, hey, remember who you are. Like, you're an emperor. You should be sitting here on this throne and you should have the world in your hands. And if you need help with that, again, Archangel Michael, that's why I wanted to use these cards to see who to work with for that. And I love working with the different decks because I really feel like it definitely confirms that with the 7 of chalices here. And I feel like, we have blue in all 3 decks actually. So I feel like that might be an important color for you this week as far as synchronicities go. And things can change in an instant. And this is a week where you are leveling up, but you're not doing it at the expense of your personal boundaries, which is great. So that's what I have, group 2. If you've stayed this long with me, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, group 3. If you picked the Apatite crystal or the shiny 3, or you just like the way the cards were placed, or for whatever reason you're here, this is your reading. And the overall energy for your week, we have the Ace of Air. So this is brilliant ideas that may need refinement, overcoming obstacles with faith, that everything will work out, communicate clearly and concisely, and remain objective. Very interesting with the Ace of Swords, so that was just what is at the bottom of this card. But Ace of Swords also talks about breakthroughs, new ideas, mental clarity, success. So it's a really good card for you to come out with for this week. There's also blue butterfly here. And I think as far as, butterflies represent change and transformation, especially with this card, it's very King Arthur vibe, the sword in the stone, where he was able to pull this sword out of the stone when nobody else could. So it's kind of finding and that transformed him. He's actually kind of the same person, but other people were seeing that transformation, because it did elevate him from, whatever he was to the king. So that was kind of important, or at least put him on that path to be king. So I like that. The angel to work with, the C here stands for Archangel Shamuel. That means the eyes of God. So if you're trying to find something that's lost, maybe your sword here so that you can be king, Archangel Shamuel is who you can work with for that. It can also mean one who seeks God. And I think it's more of like because it talks about Shamuel being peaceful and helping you find peace and helping you find peace with other people. So it's more of like, you seek God because you're seeking out that peace. But it's peaceful relationships. It's helping you come to terms or come to peace about something. And it can also talk about, world peace. Why not? Let's pray for world peace this week and see what happens. The green here, that is this light green, is what is related to Shamuel. So I think that's all I have to say about that card for right now, unless some of these other cards jog my memory about something. So we've got the Lovers in reverse. We've got 7 of Swords, Queen of Wands, and we have the Fool. So really interesting. I think this is a week where you're kind of keeping things close to your vest. You're kind of like, your communication does kind of need to be, clear and concise. Let's go back to that. But, maybe you're not even communicating things at all. If you have a new brilliant idea, you're kind of keeping it to yourself. And the reason that I say that is because we've got the 7 of Swords and the Fool. And how I'm seeing these two and how they relate to each other is the 7 of Swords talks about you doing something strategic for yourself. It's not necessarily so much in this card, although I think you can be doing something strategic on, he's using like this apparatus, which is probably, maybe looks ahead of its time here for the time frame of this card to kind of help him out and do something strategic so that his job isn't so difficult. And then the Fool isn't necessarily understood by everybody else in traditional. And then this card, this used to be my least favorite card in the deck, but then I kind of had a new understanding about it. And the reason why is the Fool is usually like this really kind of happy-go-lucky, freedom-seeking, charismatic person ready to jump off a cliff. And the Fool in this deck, as you can see, he's on solid ground, and he's like kind of ducking down from what? I'm not sure, right? But I think from like a more traditional standpoint, the Fool used to be the jester, like the court jester. And the Fool is actually somebody who, you're probably acting a fool. Well, the Fool is an actor. The Fool, and who is actually very brilliant and very smart, where like the newer fools, they seem like they're jumping off a cliff. They don't really seem that smart, right? So that's where I'm picking up like the more traditional version of the Fool, of somebody who is maybe acting out in a certain way, not letting everybody know what's fully going on behind the scenes because they're being strategic. And they might be acting out to cover something up. Just to be kind of strategic. I wouldn't say necessarily dumbing down yourself, but certainly not giving all of the information to somebody who might be demanding it because it's not of benefit to you. And where that might come, and what I mean by that is I don't know why patent paperwork is coming to mind. But what's really interesting, I know this is a very interesting reading here and where this is going, but what's really interesting with patent paperwork is you can file something and say patent pending, but you don't put all of the details in it. But once you file for a patent, like you put details in there, and actually people can kind of rip you off. It happens all the time because then they just change like certain things for themselves, or they have it manufactured in China, who doesn't really care about US patents, things like that. So what I'm kind of going with this is kind of like crazy like a fox. Like you're not putting it out there, you're not showing everybody how smart you are, how brilliant this idea is, because it's not maybe ready for prime time. And it could be like a book idea, it could be an idea for like a series of graphics that you want to do, and it doesn't really behoove you to share it with a bunch of people right now, or even maybe somebody that you've worked with in the past here with the Lovers Reversed. Because the Lovers Reversed is also very kind of individualistic card too. This is you not working with somebody else. This is you working by yourself. So because you don't want to give those ideas or things out there because, you know, that's your idea. You haven't developed it yet. It's not ready for prime time. Again, this is like, it might need refinement. It's not ready to show to everybody else. Could also talk about like a coworker who kind of comes in and steals your ideas, and you have this great idea, but it's not ready yet. Or, you know, you're working at a job and you're kind of thinking about leaving it. So you want to give them all your great ideas before you leave, because that's going to give you the competitive advantage once you leave. So that's really interesting message coming through there. Pretty specific. I don't think we addressed this Lovers in Reverse. A couple things, the Lovers in Reverse. Lovers is ruled by Gemini, which is about communication. So I think communicate clearly and concisely. Concise. Don't give more things away than you need to. Also, Lovers in Reverse can talk about a pair of people, but this is why I'm saying I think that, you know, you're doing something for yourself. You are acting strategically for you. You're not ready. It's not ready for prime time. It's not ready to share your ideas with everybody else yet. You need to find your harmony, your balance. You need to find your values around something. Because again, this is the Ace of Air. This is something that's brand new to you, brand new idea. But air feels fire. So we've got the Ace of Air and we've got the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is fire energy. She creates, she's very creative. She is somebody who is courageous and confident, but she's also independent as well. It's interesting to, you know, it might be difficult for you, kind of keeping this under wraps. When I said that, because I think you could be excited about it with the Queen of Wands. She doesn't look excited about it, but that's just this particular artwork. Because the Queen of Wands is somebody who, she is a social butterfly. She wants to talk about her accomplishments and her things that she's going on about. So, you know, just be careful who you share your ideas with is the message that's coming through. Because you are able to create your passions, but you might need to be quiet about those right now until you're ready to just really have this idea developed a little bit more as to what you're going to do with it and where you're going to go with it. And I think that the Lovers in Reverse can kind of talk about, you're not really sure which direction to go with it yet, right? You kind of have you kind of need to align your personal values. You kind of need to make a choice as to where you're going to go with it, and what's really going to benefit you, the strategery behind it, how and the Seven of Swords also talks about kind of going behind somebody's back sometimes, which is kind of why I'm picking up a little bit of like, you might be in a job right now and you may not feel like that's not your long-term goal. That's not where you're going to be in 5 years. But you're not ready to kind of like jump ship and develop that yet. I think the Fool, though, it embraces that energy, the traditional Fool, the more recent Fool, the Fool in other decks of like, yeah, jump off that cliff, go for it. But this Fool is a little bit reluctant, and I think it's just because you don't have it fully developed yet. And let's see what our advice cards are. You're very close to achieving your goal, Gibbous Moon. So Gibbous Moon is really interesting. It's not a full moon. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Gibbous means bulging. So you have an idea here that's bulging. And I feel like you kind of do want to talk about it, but it's just not ready yet, right? Bulging with possibility. You may need to make some adjustments. You're not, like, again, you're not quite there yet. And the other interesting thing about this card in particular, which I find funny, is it talks about bulging like you need to be careful a little bit, because there's a fuse attached to it, like it could blow up. How I remember it, especially with this card, is these pine trees looking up almost look like needles that are going to blow this bubble up. So you're close, or at least you can get close. Just be careful who you talk to. The answers you need are coming, full moon in Gemini. So that's interesting too. So we do go from the gibbous moon to the full moon. Another thing I talked about, the Lovers being ruled by Gemini, and it's very anti-Gemini to keep a lid on it here. But it's definitely be concise, be clear. Clear communication is important, but part of being concise and clear is editing what you say as well. Definitely speak your truth, but understand that your words have consequences. And then also, your word is your wand. That was said by Florence Shin. She's big into metaphysics. She lived like 1800s. Anyway, so I love that saying because it particularly goes with this card and like the Queen of Wands, like your word is your wand. You can speak magic into being, but you can also destroy your dream too. So it's just kind of like this week, I think you've got like this really big idea. I think your overall, I think you want to tell people about it, but it's not time to do that yet. You got to do a little bit more developing behind it. I'm excited for you though. So that's what I have for you, Group 3. I hope you have a great week. And if you've made it with me this long to the end of this video, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.